Today we're talking styles and branches of yoga. So, let's dig right on in. So there are 5 main branches of yoga. As far as styles go, that's in the West what most people think of when I say, like, what type of yoga do you practice? They're going to tell me, like, power yoga or Ashtanga yoga or Vinyasa, right? That's actually a style or even possibly a brand of yoga. I get the shivers when I say the word brand of yoga. The yoga industrial complex. But unfortunately, that is kind of what it is. If you see a TM after it, shivers, right?
Yeah.
So people mostly don't even know that there are branches or limbs of the yoga tree. So the 8 limbs of yoga, this confused me so bad when I was first learning. There are branches and there are limbs, right? The 8 limbs of yoga are the Yoga Sutras. Patanjali has the 8 limbs of yoga. So that's yamas, niyamas, the ethical precepts. That's your asana, the physical movement. And then from asana you get to pranayama, which is breath work, pratyahara, sense withdrawal. And then dharana, concentration, dhyana, absorption or meditation, and then finally samadhi. I think I missed anything.
What was the last one?
Samadhi. Samadhi.
Samadhi.
Samadhi.
I thought you were like samadhi. Okay.
Samadhi. You get some hottie in there. That is, and under samadhi, there's actually a whole host of other like sub limbs. But have we gone over that, you and I?
No,
No, I
not
don't think so.
that.
Okay. So I'll probably do another round of the 8 limbs of yoga because that's something I taught earlier in the year.
Okay.
And it might be on YouTube somewhere too. So I'll check to see if it's there and you can watch that one.
Okay.
But that's what I teach every Thursday at 6 o'clock for meditation because it is how to step down into your meditations. Yes.
I need to switch my volunteer day so I can come.
Yes,
Yeah.
please do. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're talking about today. So
Okay.
forget everything I just said. We're talking about branches, not limbs.
Okay.
Don't get your trees confused. So this number, the number 5, highly contested, right? If you go to Swami Vivekananda, I believe Swami Vivekananda is the one who defined all 5 of these terms. He definitely defined Raja as its own thing. But yoga has been a thing, and Tantra before it, for thousands upon thousands of years. So obviously there are different schools, there are different branches, there are different styles, there are different brands. This happens over time. Things get modified, especially modified for different locations. So I do talk about like Western yoga a lot. It's not necessarily a horrible thing that we have a kind of different kind of yoga in the West because the West is a different culture. So yeah, there's going to be some differences in the way we practice. I think it's important still to understand in context, in situ, what yoga looks like in different cultures, in different areas, and even within India. India has a lot of different cultures. It's not a monolith. So this is why anything I say, you are going to be able to refute, always and forever. But I say it from a well-meaning and a well-studied place, and I'll try to give the context of what I'm saying at any point as much as possible. So we're going to go with the 5 branches system here. We're going to say that there are 5 general categories. Actually, my training in integral yoga adds a 6th. That's called Japa yoga. And that, I actually kind of just lump that into the royal yoga because, or even, yeah, I would lump that into royal yoga because it's repetition of mantra is Japa. So personally, I lump it in with the dharana aspect of Raja yoga, but my training says there's 6 branches. So even according to my own training, this is not right. But let's go ahead and, with all the disclaimers over, let's just dig in.
Wait, were you trained in like a Western centered? No. Okay.
No.
Cool.
I was trained in Integral Yoga.
Okay.
Integral Yoga is the brand of Swami Satchidananda, who came to America he studied in Rishikesh with Swami Shivananda, which is northern India.
Okay.
He comes from, I believe, Tamil. He comes from Tamil. And then he had an ashram for a long time in Sri Lanka, which is southern. And then he came to America. Actually, Peter Max, the artist, convinced him to come to America.
Oh, wow.
It's a kind of interesting story. He's also called the Woodstock yogi because when the kids were going crazy at Woodstock, someone's like, we need to get someone in to calm them down.
Yeah.
And he actually hosted an impromptu meditation on stage at Woodstock
Oh, wow.
to set off the whole thing.
Oh, he's known for that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he's known for. Yeah. That is what I'm trained in. That's the style I'm trained in. But of course, I was trained in the West. Not of course. Some people go to India, but through that system. Yes. So disclaimers. Disclaimers aside, let me see if I can turn off whatever is yelling at me right now. That is that one. Okay. The 5 branches I'm going to share with you today are Karma, Bhakti, Jnana, and Raja and Hatha. So, first of all, karma, the yoga of action. Mostly, we get the definition from the Bhagavad Gita, which we read together, right? You were there for that one?
No.
No, you weren't there for that one. Oh, okay.
I am listening to it on my own though.
Nice. All right, awesome. Oh, that's right. It was Kate that was there for that one. You'll get to. Have you gotten to the part where he talks about karma yet, Krishna does?
No.
Okay.
I just started literally like yesterday.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Well, congratulations. Keep going, because it does start off a little heavy with all the war stuff, but then it gets into your philosophy and you're off, and you'll enjoy it. Next is Bhakti, which is the yoga of devotion, which we'll also see a little bit of in the Bhagavad Gita. And then Dhyana, the yoga of self-realization. Again, we get a lot of the definition of that from the Bhagavad Gita. And then Raja Yoga, which comes out of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali and was defined by Swami Vivekananda in the late 1800s. He is the guy, if you ever see, well, actually I'll show him a picture. This guy, if you've ever seen him, he did a lot to help really explain what yoga really is to the West, and dispel a lot of misconceptions that people had about it early on. I don't think he ever came to America. No, he never came to America, but he went to England a lot and spoke on behalf of yoga, on behalf of India, and these traditions. He died before India became free. You know about the British Raj. But I think he did a lot to really help people understand and get more in depth. So I would consider him kind of an early prominent figure in what helped India gain independence from England.
Wow.
Yeah, he's really cool. And his writing is incredible. He knows words I don't know. Like, if you read his writing, his lexicon is just insane. So he's an extremely good writer, very specific and very good at explaining things. And then Hatha, forceful yoga, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which is 14th century CE. Now notice these are all this is, the Yoga Sutras is BCE. This is 2nd century CE. Look at how big of a jump this is.
Huge jump.
It's a huge jump. That's like 1,000 years jump.
Yeah.
That's wild. And even this is the 14th century. That was so long ago.
Yeah.
This is extremely old.
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
What I'm going back to is very, very old stuff here. So, original intentions, or if not original, early intentions of what yoga was and what yoga could be. That's what I'm trying to kind of dig out here and show to people. And then we'll get into the styles later. I will go through and explain at the end the differences that you can expect in these different styles of yoga. You will probably only really need this one because 99% of yoga in the West is vinyasa flow yoga.
Yeah.
So that's mostly all you're going to find. But I will explain what all these other different styles are so that if you do see them, you'll kind of know what you're getting into when you go to a yoga class. All right, so let's start from the top then. Karma yoga, the path of action. Acting without attachment to the outcome or self-interest. Your work is your responsibility, not its result. Never let the fruits of your actions be your motive, nor give in to inaction. Set firmly in yourself, do your work, do not attach to anything. Remain even-minded in success and in failure. Even-mindedness is true yoga. This is from the Bhagavad Gita. So when people ask about karma yoga and want to know more about that, really it's the Bhagavad Gita. I say, go to that one. Because that one, it really handles karma yoga very, very well. And it gives us a good sense of what that is and what that's going to be. And Gandhi, I put some kind of examples, people you can think of to help you remember, oh, this is kind of what this is like. This is kind of the feeling of this. Is doing the work and doing it to the best of your ability in the moment without thinking too much about the outcome, too much about the goal. Just seeing what there is to be done, what's in front of you and doing it. Gandhi's also kind of, unfortunately, a little bit of a figure of some dispute. I'll say some
Controversial.
people, yeah, controversial, that's the word, yes. So I do have to point out that there are some people who say that if not for Gandhi, India would have been free like 40 years earlier, but he kind of stopped things to do it the right way or the righteous way. So there is that commentary on him. I don't know, I didn't know the guy, so I've only seen the movie. I really love the movie. But I do also want to point out that there is that controversy there, so just to be aware of that. No human being is perfect, don't idolize anyone, yada yada, disclaimer over. So what is karma yoga? Forgetting about, any of this stuff. Karma yoga is seeing what there is to be done in front of you and doing it. No attachment, no looking for reward, no looking for a thank you or even recognition. So karma yoga is the action that happens in the still, quiet, unseen places. So imagine you are visiting a forest, and you know this forest is a forest that no one really goes to, no one's going to be there, there's no one in charge, and you see a styrofoam cup on the ground. Do you think, oh, I should grab that styrofoam cup because ... Or do you just grab the cup? Do you just grab the cup? When you mentalize, when you overthink everything, that it starts to slip away from being karma yoga, slowly but surely. If you say, because an animal could eat it and choke on it, or if you say, because it doesn't look good here, or if you say, because I'm a good person, oh, that's especially because I'm a good person, I'm going to pick up the styrofoam cup. Whew. That is one of the tripping points of the ego in karma yoga. That is really what we gotta watch out for. I'm gonna do this because I'm a good person. No, just simply, there's a cup there, cup doesn't belong there, pick it up, put it where it belongs.
And what if then you think, I don't know why people can't find the trash can is right there.
That's just being curious about your world.
Because I do that all the time downtown. I always pick it. If I see trash, I pick it up, and I'm like, why couldn't they just put it in the trash can?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So if there's an emotional component, like, oh, people suck, why don't they do this? Then it's not yoga. If it's simply saying, I wonder why people don't do this, and if there's a solution to help people do it better, then yeah, maybe it's more like karma yoga. So if it's a genuine curiosity, I would say that yeah, that's in line with the yogic principles. If it's people,
Yeah.
Not so much, maybe. Maybe that's your yoga.
I don't know. Sometimes, some days.
Yeah.
So this week, you talked about this a little bit last week. So I've been trying to practice it this week, but I realized trying to practice it led to more overthinking.
Uh-huh.
So I would catch myself doing it naturally, and then I notice it right as I'm doing it, and then it turns into not karma yoga. Do you know what I'm saying?
This is exactly what happens in meditation, in Raja Yoga. Same
Okay.
thing happens. I think actually any yoga.
Okay.
As soon as you realize you're doing it,
You're
you're
right.
not doing it anymore.
Exactly. And I was like, I was so
Yes.
close, but like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm
Yes.
like, that's the point. It's okay. Just keep practicing.
Just keep practicing.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Don't think about it.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
found a wallet in the parking lot, and it had a social security card in it. I'm like,
Okay.
"Oh." And so I work in the legal field, so I'm able to go use that social security number, and I found what it belonged to, got
Yeah.
his phone number,
Yeah.
and called him and returned it, and he was so grateful. But that's the right thing to do.
Right.
And yeah, so, and I wanted to tell him, you should not have your social security card in that wallet, but
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
So is that kind of a karma thing, or?
Getting there.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely approaching that because you chose to do the right thing. But that's like so we all kind of have this idea from childhood. Usually, we grow up in households where good behavior is rewarded, bad behavior is punished. Right? There's this strict black and white. Oh, good girl, bad girl. Right?
Mm.
If we are waiting for that good girl, bad girl, if we're waiting for that, that's not karma yoga anymore. And this really requires us to look at our training and to realize, why did I do this good thing, this social thing, this thing that makes the world a little bit of a nicer place? Even if we do it, and this is the wild part about karma yoga, this is where it gets really, really deep. Even if we do it because we want to live in a nicer, friendlier, happier world, it's not touching the final goal of karma yoga. Not the final goal. There are, just like in meditation, yeah, your focus improves, your attention improves, you might feel more calm, you might feel happier. Those are not the final goals. Those are all these really nice trail markers, right? The final goal of meditation is an experience of union with the divine. And even that, you can dispute. It could be even deeper than that. It could be the experience of nothingness. It could be lack of experience. It could be deep understanding of your consciousness. That's like, these are like the deep goals of meditation. Deep goal of karma yoga is just to do. Simply to do.
So the act of me trying to practice it defeats the purpose.
A little bit.
Right?
Well, it's like what
Yeah.
Buddha says. I think he's, okay, I'm not going to say he says this because I can't actually remember a quote from Buddha where he's saying this, but this idea that in seeking enlightenment and reducing attaching,
Yeah.
the last thing you have to reduce your attachment to is your attachment to enlightenment. Right?
You cannot reach enlightenment if you were reaching for it.
Yes.
That's what you said last week.
Yes, see? So the same is true with karma. Karma yoga. And any technique you use, the last thing you have to get rid of is the technique. So when we're meditating, we meditate, say we're meditating on a mantra. Say Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. We hold on to Om Shanti for dear life. Hold on to it like it's an anchor in a storm, right? But you cannot reach the final goal of meditation if you're holding on to that mantra. There comes a point, and you'll know it when you get there. Usually, you'll have this sense of it's time, and you let go of your mantra. You let go of technique. You let go of meditation. You let go of the rules. You let go of everything. And you flow, and then you just are. And that is the purpose. That's the point. So yeah, you do have to hold on to the doing your work well, thinking about karma yoga. How do I do this in a karma yoga way? Until you don't have to think about it anymore, and it just happens. Yeah, it's like when you're learning to drive, you have to really think about, how do I drive? Which is the gas pedal, which is the brake pedal? But now I bet if I make you overthink, which is the gas pedal, which is the brake pedal, you're gonna forget how to drive, right?
Listen, not.
Yeah. Same thing. You overthink it, and then you have to stop thinking. Always.
Well, just like learning a stick shift.
Mhm.
I haven't driven one in years, and I got a rental car, and it's a stick shift. I'm like, over in Iceland, and so, but it's just natural. It naturally came back. It's
Comes
just
right
there.
back. Yeah. Don't overthink. Don't overthink it. So this is the path of action. And what I really want to point out here is nor give in to inaction, because I know for me, when I started meditating a lot, I definitely reached a place where, oh my God, nothing needs to be done. Nothing needs to be done. Everything's perfect. Everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to happen, because I stood then outside of the system. And meditation gets us to a place where we're outside of everything, and we can look in. So we're like, it's all running without me. I don't have to do anything. We forget that we're part of that system, that we are in the machine, that we are puzzle pieces. When I say we, I mean our personalities, I mean our egos, I mean our identities and our lives. That's part of the machine.
The human part.
The human part, yeah. So the question then becomes, how can I remember who I am? How can I remember spirit? How can I remember this outsidedness while still puppeting, while still being present with the actor, the one who's inside the machine, the one who is acting? How can you have both? And that's the deep question Karma Yoga asks us and helps us to practice. All right, any questions on Karma Yoga? All right, then let's do the next thing. Bhakti Yoga. So when you see an H after a consonant like this, it's a sound. So Bhakti, Bhakti. This people get messed up a lot if there's a PH in any Sanskrit word. If you see a PH, it's not F, it's P. So when we're learning Sanskrit, we usually really overemphasize it. So it's Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti.
Can you say Shakti?
It's Shakti.
Shakti. So it is the same, it's just difficult looking.
It's actually, let me show you how Shakti is actually spelled.
It's without an H, right?
It doesn't have an H.
Okay.
No. When people spell it with an H, they're spelling it in American phonetics, but in, and I forget what it's called, but if you're writing it out in Arabic letters, it is going to be written out like that.
Okay.
You see over there, Sakti. And there are like 3 different S's in Sanskrit. This is a sh. Yeah, there's a s, there's a sh, and there's a sh.
How would you know the difference? You've seen it.
It is, well, these letters are different, number one. So this letter right here is the sh letter. It's the beginning of Shiva as well. So if you're looking at actual Devanagari, Devanagari is how you pronounce it. You'll see it. But if I can find someone writing it correctly, good luck. It'll have diacritical marks.
Okay.
So little dots
Yeah,
or
yeah.
slashes, that will help you. And I have another class that I teach on Sanskrit, and I go really in depth to explain.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I do. Well, it came up in this year of yoga mysticism stuff, but
Okay.
I'll come back to it. I'll teach some more Sanskrit again. So anyway, Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion. So this is love for your Ishtadeva, or your chosen form of God, expressed through poetry, singing, dancing, art, etc. This is worship services to the Christians, right? Ideally, this is what it is. Sometimes worship service becomes a way to show off, but that wouldn't be it. That would, just like if your karma yoga is showing off how good you are, it is not karma yoga. If your bhakti is showing off how devoted you are and how good of a singer or dancer you are, it is not bhakti. It's about letting that love of the divine pour out of you. So one of my favorite examples of bhakti is Laleshvara, who we see here, a 13th century Kashmiri mystic. And she wandered around mostly naked, in love with Shiva at all times. She was a non-dual Shaivite, so Shiva was her Ishta Devata. And one of her poems is, I, Lala, entered the gate of the mind's garden and saw Shiva united with Shakti. I was immersed in the lake of undying bliss. Here, in this lifetime, I've been unchained from the wheel of birth and death. What can the world do to me? My master gave me just one rule. Forget the outside, get to the inside of things. I, Lala, took that teaching to heart. From that day, I danced naked. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love her poetry. it gives me chills. It makes me feel the bliss that she felt when she encountered the divine. I love Bhakti. Bhakti, I think, for me personally, Bhakti is one of the easiest to go into. And I think this is not true for everyone, but it definitely getting to the emotional, getting to the heart of it, I do think it's easy. And, gosh, all of it, just try them all. So, what does Bhakti Yoga look like, other than like poetry? The Hare Krishnas. You know about the Hare Krishnas? They usually hang out in parks or walk around town and they're dancing and singing.
Mm-hmm.
That's Bhakti. That's singing, that delight in the divine. I know, it's very touching, isn't it?
Yeah. I've seen them in Atlanta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you can see it in their faces that they are caught up in the ecstasy of love, of Krishna, of Radha Krishna. That's what they're singing about. Or of Ram, who's a form of Vishnu. So I have this little video. The video might actually be broken. Oh yeah, I think the video got broken. But so it's a picture, a lovely picture, where you can kind of see the. Oh, there it is. Let's see. It's not too loud. Boop. No. Okay. Well, you're probably familiar anyway with the singing and the dancing and the loving. That would be Bhakti. Oh, I guess I'm offline. That's probably why it's been kind of weird. You can connect with Bhakti in pretty much anything you're doing. I mean, I'll be meditating and I get to a point of my meditation where it is just love and it feels like Bhakti. It's no longer Raja Yoga, it becomes Bhakti Yoga. There's even, you can do meditation in a karma yoga way. You can do it as a, I said I would do this, especially if you have a sankalpa. You said, oh, or a vow you take. I said I would do my sadhana 10 days in a row. And because I said this, I will act on it. That is the karma in your Raja Yoga. So the categories really do all at a certain point. They kind of mesh together and they help each other and they're all one. But our brains love to categorize things. That's why there's literally Ganesha is the god of categorizations as well. So we literally have a god that's like, yeah, y'all want to analyze, y'all want to break this apart, I'm here for you, I got you. All right. Also, another one I want to mention, I can't believe I didn't mention this, puja. Puja is bhakti. So what puja is altar care and altar setup, essentially, and worshiping a deity through ritual actions. That's puja. So there's not really, let's see. Yeah, all right, so for Christianity, that would be like lighting the candles on the altar. That would be that. That would be like if you have, Like if you're going to be doing the Eucharist, you put the Eucharist, the bread and the wine on the altar and bring it to God first. That's like puja. So there's lots of different ways to do puja. Lots and lots of different ways to do it. As long as you do it with bhakti, as long as you do it with pure devotion, pure love, successful puja. So what I like to do is one of every element. So something representing space, usually flowers, fire, a candle, air, incense, earth, food, and then water. Water, obviously. So what you do is you just offer those things one by one to a symbol of the divine. Whatever symbol suits your fancy. Could be pretty much anything you could offer to, because you can see the divine in anything, as long as you see the divine in it. Another way you can do this is you can do it internally. This is a practice, where you close your eyes and imagine offering these things to the divine. There are stories of people who they only do puja internally because they can't afford to give this deity everything they want to give the deity, so they do it internally. Like, what if you wanted to give every fruit that ever existed in the entire world forever to Ganesha, huh? You can do that in your mind.
You can do anything.
Absolutely, you can do that. Physically, not so much. But every single fruit that has ever existed and ever will exist, if you want to give that to Ganesha, please do. Please do internally. And even if you give a single fruit, you should have that feeling that this fruit represents all the fruit ever. That is the full surrendering to the divine. So, any questions about bhakti, how it can be done? No? All right. Jnana yoga, also sometimes spelled with a G. So, interesting thing about this word, jnana, when it came into, let's see, from Sanskrit, we get Greek and Latin. One of them, I don't know which one came first, Greek or Latin. Was it Greek and then Latin? I think that's it.
I don't know.
I think it was Greek and then Latin. Don't quote me on that though. I believe it was Greek and then Latin, but it became gnosis. So Gnosis, gnosis, right? And then it became knowledge. So the root word, it goes all the way back to dhyana, all the way back to Sanskrit. So this is the contemplation of our true nature, which leads to realization of ultimate reality. This was actually the first kind of yoga that popped my cherry. It's the one that got it for me.
Popped your cherry.
Yeah, so to speak.
We get it.
Yeah. When I was 16, I did physical yoga, hatha yoga, and I did a decent amount of it. I really enjoyed it, but it never got me there. I also did a bunch of meditation, never really got me there. Then I started to think. I got into the mind. I asked, why? And my curious nature took over, and it kept going, and I got there. I got to my first realization of actual felt oneness with the universe. Not just, oh yeah, we're all one, right? Because I would say that, yeah, we're all one, but I didn't feel it.
It wasn't embodied.
It wasn't embodied. And through Jnana Yoga, I experienced, mind blown, actually experienced that. So this was it for me. I wouldn't say that now this is my go-to form of yoga, but it was definitely the one that did it for me in the end. So Ramana Maharishi is one of our most popular gurus who was a jnana yogi. He says, wanting to reform the world without discovering one's true self is like trying to cover the world with leather to avoid the pain of walking on stones and thorns. It's much simpler to wear shoes.
That is true.
Yeah, they're just truisms.
Yeah.
Really, a lot of what he says, what he thinks, is so simple and so obvious that when you read him, you're like, oh, of course. Of course, it's so easy. Why are we making it complicated? He also says, your duty is to be and not to be this or that. Let me rephrase that. Your duty is to be and not to be this or that, right? So I am that I am sums up the whole truth. The method is summed up in the words be still. What does stillness mean? It means to destroy yourself, because any form or shape is the cause for trouble. Give up the notion that I am so-and-so. All that is required to realize the self is to be still. What can be easier than that?
Mm-hmm.
So this is getting beyond identity. Getting beyond, I am Carmen. I am a yoga teacher. I am a good person. All that. It's a practice called neti neti. Not this, not that. Neti neti. Anything that arises when you ask, what am I? Anything that arises, you say, not that. I'm awareness of that. I am aware of teaching yoga. I am aware of the body. I am aware of my thoughts. So what am I? I am. I am that I am. Sometimes I'll meditate on that. I am that I am that I am that I am. Right?
I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Jnana yoga. Very good for the curious mind, very good for the analytical mind is Jnana yoga. And I think the intellectual mind too. I think that many of us in the West, we really value our intellectualism. We really value that knowledge, wisdom, intelligence. So Jnana yoga, I think, is a good path for a lot of people who grew up that way. All right, now, welcome Swami Vivekananda, who defined Raja Yoga, or the royal path. Raja means king. So when we say the British rule, Raj is rule. So this is following the 8 limbs, Ashtanga of yoga. So really, if you want to learn more about Raja Yoga, you're going to be reading the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Because this goes into how to practice the yoga of the mind. Working through the mind, chewing with the mind. And it does have a lot of similarities with other ones. Like you'll see, asana is part of it. The kind of asana we do in Raja Yoga is different than what I'll tell you about in a moment in Hatha Yoga. So asana in Raja Yoga, if you read the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, literally just means a steady and comfortable seat. Asana is a seat. That's it. So as far as Raja Yoga goes, if I want to be a good Raja Yogi and practice asana, I've done it. I'm there. That's it. That's all I have to do. Now, if I want to be a good Hatha Yogi and practice asana, I gotta pressel up. But for Raja Yoga, this is all you need. Steady and comfortable. Sthira and sukha. Yep. So, I do have a whole class on the 8 limbs of yoga, and like I said, every Thursday I teach through all 8 limbs. So I won't go too much into depth, but essentially you got 10 ethical guidelines that you go through with the yamas and the niyamas, the disciplines and the duties. And most of us probably, if we strive to be good individuals, most of us probably already work on these things, like not being violent, like being truthful, not stealing, using your energy well in brahmacharya, not being greedy or hoarding things, being clean, having like general hygiene, contentment. That's a hard one to practice because if you're content, so often we value ambition, and if you value ambition, the contentedness really starts to degrade. It's difficult to be content if you really value ambition. I'm an ambitious person. I also value ambition. So I've had to really learn how to balance ambition, and contentedness. Karma has helped with that, karma yoga, because it lets me do things still and still be a productive member of society while having this underlying sense of peace. Like, I'm gonna do this, like, for my books. I'm gonna write a book, I'm gonna publish it, I'm gonna market it to people. Everything else is out of my hands. So I know what my job is. My job is to write it, my job is to put it out there, my job is to tell people about it. Everything else, someone else's job. Reviews, that's someone else's job. Getting people to love it, that's someone else's job. That's not my job. So that's how I get my santosha while still acting.
I have a hard time even assigning marketing to myself because I'm like, it'll just come to me. I'm in that weird space.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, and I almost daily have that question.
I know.
Like, will it just come to me, or because if you publish a book and you print it and then you bury it in the woods,
I know.
no one's gonna read it. You do something that you would like other people to take advantage of. It is wise to let them know it exists. That's simply it. And that's what I've been really, like, my marketing scheme. Just let people know what you're doing. Let them know what's available. Don't try to get them to buy in. You know, it's not about the buy-in. It's not about convincing someone. It's simply saying, hey, I did this. It's kind of like this. If you like those things, you might like this. That's it. Very simple.
The website, your classes, I saw that. I'm like, I'm very interested. I'm interested in a lot of them, but some of them I can't come to because I'm at work. Or I have to do my volunteer because I do my volunteer work.
But you'll connect with the people who are interested in stuff.
Yeah.
If they know about it.
Yeah.
If you get it in front of their eyes, that's it. You don't have to try to. So marketing and like the psychology of advertisement, I think, is a little bit evil.
Exactly. That's where I struggle. I'm like, what do I do here? Yeah.
There's this psychology of marketing,
especially
like it's will change your life, and
then like the content creation aspect of.
Right.
Get it away from me. Okay.
Because you recognize that's not karma yoga. You recognize that it's grasping, that it's a little bit lying, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I can't truthfully say that this class is going to change your life. I don't know that. I mean, it might, if this is the kind of stuff that connects with you, but I cannot go out there and be like, Raja Yoga makes all the difference. And you'll gain like
exactly
a million followers if you do. Like, no, that's lying. I can't promise these things. And it's the overpromise of bad marketing, essentially, that we get sick of. And that we see so much of it that we do start to get that like immediate like that ick that comes along with it. Yes. So we're kind of going back to the karma yoga now.
Yeah.
How do we do what there is to be done without attaching to the outcome? How do we stay truthful when we're showing people, hey, this is what I have, this is what I do. Here you go. Just be truthful about it. That's it. Leave the rest up to other people. Tapas, this is a cool one. So tapas is the discipline or the burning out. And you'll hear it's burning out of impurities. That's the word. There's a thing, like, we have a thing called purity culture. And like, it gets into a little bit of like whiteness and like not understanding what purity means. Thinking that everything has to be like simple and white and plain. And that's good. So I don't really use the word impurities anymore because it gets confusing, I think. I use unhelpful thoughts and behaviors because that's, I think, what they meant by the impurities, right? It's like you've got gold that's got a bunch of junk in it that's not gold, so what do? You burn out the stuff that's not gold so you get just the gold. That's it. So unhelpful thoughts and behaviors, when they arise, you say, oh, hey, look, that's an unhelpful thought or behavior. Wipe it out. That's it. So that's tapas. That's the fiery energy of discipline. Svadhyaya is the self-study, self-reflection, and study of spiritual texts. This one's always nice to come to when you're reading the Yoga Sutras because you're like, I'm doing that currently right now. Gold star.
Yay, already a yogi.
Yes. Successful yoga day. And then Ishvara Pranidhana, which is surrender to a higher power. And this we kind of see in our Bhakti yogis. We really actually see it in our Bhakti yogis because they do just surrender into the divine with that love. They love the divine so much, with such unconditional openness, that their own identity just kind of melts into that identity. And that's, then think about Jnana Yoga, losing the identity. Do you see how at the core they're all the same? They're all getting us to the same goal. Literally the same. Different paths, same goal. And then, like I said, the asana is just steady, comfortable seat. Pranayama, different breathing practices. So I can't remember. I don't believe that the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali actually describes any yoga practice or pranayama practices, like how to do them. I am 99% sure it doesn't, and that these are things that are just known. That the Hatha Yoga Pradipika actually explains. So, kind of like asana, if you want to dig more into pranayama, you go to the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, you go into the Hatha Yoga texts to learn more pranayama breathing practices. But what pranayama means is the restraint of prana. So yama, restraint or disciplines. And then prana. Prana is your life force energy. Prana is said to ride on the breath. So you can think about it kind of like oxygen. It is that which livens you up, that which energizes you. So really, it's about controlling the internal energies in some way. It just so happens that breath work is one of the easier ways to do that. So that's what people usually do when they do pranayama work. By technical definition, I would say Qigong is pranayama. People might not agree with that, but
I do Qigong.
yeah, and you can feel the energy moving.
Mm-hmm.
You feel that you're rising your energy. You feel that you're working with the energy in your body, the Qi, or the
Mhm.
prana.
It's just easier. But okay.
Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
this is the breath work is what most people choose. And in Qigong, there is breath. You do use the breath.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not totally devoid of it. There's just more movement. Kriyas are a lot like Qigong in that you're doing different breath work, but you're also doing movement with the breath work. That's something we'll get into later, probably, is Kriyas. But essentially pranayama, and this shouldn't even say breathing practices. This should really say like energy, movement practices. There we go. That's more accurate. But people mostly know it as the breath practices. And then pratyahara is the sense withdrawal. That's when you recognize I'm not the body, so I'm moving away from the hearing, from the seeing, from the smelling, from the touching. And then you move within. This is usually when you get physical stillness in the body. And then you step down to dharana, focused concentration. This is when you pick up your mantra, you pick up your yantra, whatever it is that you're studying, you're focusing on. Your breath, you can focus on your breath, different than pranayama. If you're meditating on the breath, it's just a different thing. And then you hold your attention steady. And you hold it steady. And you hold it steady. And then eventually, this happens, because you can't do it anymore. What happens is meditation, meditative absorption, dhyana. And then samadhi, enlightenment, realization, or to see equally. So in this, there's no longer an I. This is just like in karma yoga. Oh, I'm doing good. Lost it, right? Same thing in samadhi. Oh, I'm in samadhi. Dang it. No, I'm not. Because I can't be in samadhi at that point, there's no samadhi. If I am in it, it's probably dharana. It's probably concentration still. All right. And finally, we come to Hatha Yoga, which is what most people kind of think about yoga as, because it's the most probably visually interesting kind of yoga to do. Easy to sell yoga to do. Looks weird yoga. So here's a really old 19th century artwork. I wanted to get something older than this because Hatha Yoga's been, the Pradipika came out in 1350. And there are more texts. This is just the one that I really know about, so this is the one that I'm focusing on. So the idea is to force Kundalini to rise. All Hatha Yoga, all physical yoga movements, forcing your Kundalini to rise through practices like asana, seat, posture, Shatkriya or Shatkarmas. These are not used too frequently anymore because a lot of them we find they do kind of mess up your system. It's like, you know how people used to do a lot of douches and they're like, oh, it's actually messing up your pH and don't do it anymore. So kind of similar with the Shatkriya, Shatkarmas. There are things like stomach cleansing where you swallow cloth and literally like cleansing your stomach with the cloth and then pulling it back out. And there's, you put a string up your nose and like flossing your nose. Now we have neti pods, yes, with the saline rinse. Yeah. And they recommend doing it like daily. Don't do it daily, it'll really dry out your sinuses. Do it as needed. And that's the thing with a lot of these, like enemas are another one that they recommend. It's really not something you should be doing all the time because your body already does a lot of what it needs. Only do it when your body is no longer doing what it needs to be doing. And in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it literally does say, there's a line along the lines of, only do the Shatkarmas if you're feeling like unhealthy or unwell or like kind of phlegmy or whatever. So it does actually say that you shouldn't be doing them all the time.
So it's just medicine. It's not it's not daily practice.
Yeah.
Like, they just like okay.
Yeah.
Were they doing it all? I guess that's how they found out.
Yeah. That's probably probably some people were doing it all the time and were like, actually maybe this is hurtful, not helpful. But Shat means 6. Kriya and Karma both mean like Kriya means action, Karma means action. I think they might have slightly different meanings, but they're essentially interspersed. Pranayama, like we discussed, but this book actually talks about how to do it. It gives you instructions on how to do different kinds of pranayama. So like Vastrika is in there, Kapalabhati, the skull shining breath is in there. There's one that a lot of people don't practice anymore. It's air swallowing. I forgot what it's called. But you literally swallow air, fill up your stomach with air, and then it's like you're floating. And I love the image they use.
I love that.
Like you're floating like a lotus on a pond. Like it's a beautiful image, and I think I'll meditate on that image. But I don't know if I'll swallow air because that seems like it would be uncomfortable. And I think that's probably why people don't do it. It's difficult and it's uncomfortable. Bandha, so these are locks, like physical locks in the body. So it's like engaging, when I say engage your core, engaging your core, that could be a bandha. There's also the stomach lock. So don't quote me on this one. I believe there's some difference between, this is not something that I'm super well versed in. I just want you to know it exists. But they do talk about the 3 major locks. So there's the root lock where you're kind of it's almost like a Kegel, almost. It's the perineum that you're holding up. And the stomach lock where you exhale and then pull in your stomach and hold. And then the throat lock is similar and you hold. So there's the 3 locks, usually done after some rounds of pranayama. And the idea of this is to lock energy into the body and let it circulate within the body. So that's what those are for. And then samadhi is also discussed at length in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, just like it's discussed at length in the Yoga Sutras as well. So like I said, there's a lot of overlap here. And asana, I don't remember how many. There's more than 80, less than 100 asana that are actually described in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika.
I need to remember my book to write in, because it doesn't spell check me.
Oh yeah, I know, it's so annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, this is in a different language, please let me write it. Alright, so this is the limb of yoga, or I'm sorry, this is the branch of yoga that everyone was like, that one looks cool, let's do that one. And then from that you get all this modern postural yoga that spread out from lovely Krishnamacharya, the father of modern yoga, who began Vinyasa yoga in the early 1900s. So any kind of yoga you practice is probably kind of goes back to him. He was a Vaishnavite, but he really encouraged interfaith and no faith yoga practice for all. So this is why today you see Christians practicing yoga. You see atheists practicing yoga. You see a lot of people who are not Hindu practicing yoga because he said it's totally okay to do that, even though he was a very devout Hindu. As you can see, he has a tilak and he's got his Rudrakshas. Those Rudrakshas? I may have misspoke. I don't think those are Rudrakshas. He's got his malas. Because if he was a Vaishnavite, they would probably be either, they don't like Tulsi either, probably sandalwood. Anyway, he's got his beads. He's a Hindu. But he did encourage everyone to get into yoga because it can deepen any faith.
No gatekeeping.
No gatekeeping, yes. And it was a lovely, beautiful message. But it also sort of allowed for some people to take it really off the rails and really not what it was intended to be, essentially. So just like anything, there's always balances that happen. But he himself was a wonderful man, very high, very spiritual and enlightened being. So here are some of the modern styles or schools of yoga. You will see some people who just say Hatha Yoga, like I do. This is just Hatha Yoga, because I don't want to label it. I don't need labels. So we're just going back to the early, just saying this is a forceful yoga. We're forcing your Kundalini to rise. We're going to force that spiritual energy up through the spine to the top of the head so you can have that explosion moment of enlightenment, right? That's it. So usually when people say Hatha Yoga, it's a little bit more traditional in that the postures are held longer. It is focused on the posture itself and getting into that posture and sitting in it for a while. That's how I teach, about 5 breaths for every posture. Vinyasa Yoga, which Krishnamacharya really taught, focuses more on the breath element of it. So it's often quicker than in Hatha Yoga. So this usually inhale, move, exhale, move, inhale, move, exhale, move, inhale, move, exhale, move. Drives me nuts. I can't do it.
It's too fast.
Too fast.
It's too fast.
I can do it for a little while. When I do my sun salutations,
Yeah.
I like to do this. But after sun salutations, 3 or 4 rounds of that and I'm done. And I want to sit in a posture and like breathe into the posture for a while personally. But Vinyasa Yoga usually, I say usually now, my first yoga teacher did call himself a Vinyasa Yoga teacher, and he did actually study in India, and we did not do that. It was Hatha Yoga, as I would define it, is what he taught. So, like I said, all these definitions are a little scattered. Ashtanga Yoga, 8 limbs. They're highly structured classes that focus on intense discipline. So there's always going to be in Ashtanga Yoga the same set of postures that you do over and over and over again. Very focused, oftentimes very difficult postures. It's very disciplined, very hard line kind of yoga. This is not the yoga you're going to go to when someone's like, oh, just breathe into it and settle in and do what feels right. Come into child. No, that's not gonna happen in
It's like,
Ashtanga.
yeah, headstands.
Yeah, Ashtanga like
Like the
headstands.
crows.
It's like up, down, twist. Like it's really like clipped and it's strong. It's very
Gotcha.
intense. That would be your Ashtanga yoga. I like that. If I didn't have so many injuries from yoga, I would probably like Ashtanga yoga. I like to be disciplined. Call it a kink.
Amen.
Iyengar yoga is actually kind of a beautiful balance between all of these, I would say. A lot of the alignment cues that people use actually come from Iyengar. He was really concerned with anatomy and making sure that things were anatomically correct. And that you weren't going to injure yourself. Which is great. I love
That's
Iyengar.
a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, he was also a lovely human being. Like, he never had any of the, like, allegations. Like, he was a lovely guy. So, highly recommend all of his books. Iyengar's wonderful. Especially, what I love about him, he looks so intense when you see him. So in the photos, these grainy black and white photos of him as a young man, when he's doing Tadasana, he looks like this. It's so intense.
It's kind of, maybe that's some OCD with the anatomy thing.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Maybe a
Oh,
little
no.
bit. But he was a very gentle person. And actually his daughter or granddaughter continues his legacy and still teaches.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and he was a very big proponent of women in yoga because
Hell yeah.
women weren't in yoga for a long, long time. It was only men.
Really?
Yeah, because women are distracting to men, you know,
Oh, yeah.
tits and
Get
whatnot.
blamed for everything.
We don't want to distract the yogis from their enlightenment
Don't get in
or
the
whatever.
pulpit.
So that's yeah. So yeah, he was a really good one for bringing yoga to everyone in a healthy and helpful way. Oh, I have to hurry up. Kundalini yoga. Okay, so all yoga is about all hatha yoga is raising the kundalini, the spiritual energy. But Yogi Bhajan is in the 1970s well known for developing kundalini yoga. The mantras in kundalini yoga are weird. They are not what I'm used to. You say Ong instead of Om. It's O-N-G. They're Sikh influenced. Yes. So it's not Hindu influenced yoga. It's really interesting. So it's something to check out. There's a lot of Kriya in Kundalini, so quick movements with breath. And a lot of chanting, which I do love the chanting. I just don't like the way they chant because I like my classic chants. But it is a fun kind of yoga to practice. Restorative yoga poses are held much longer, liberally use of props, and you can do like 5 poses in one. Coming with restorative yoga, and then Yin yoga. People confuse these two, so I want to separate these out a little bit. Yin yoga focuses on flexibility, and there's actually a lot of movement in Yin. Polly Zink invented it in the 1970s, and it's kung fu. It's kung fu mixed with yoga. That's Yin yoga. It's not restorative yoga. So now you know that.
Yeah.
Go look. He actually has a website. If you go to his website, you can learn about the origins of Yin yoga and what it was intended to be too. Because that one got really twisted. But that's it. The end.
While we clean up, I have a question about Kundalini. Isn't
Yes.
the whole purpose not to force it? Isn't that the point? I don't understand.
That is not the point.
It's not the
You can
point?
force it if you want to.
You
Yeah.
can?
You absolutely can, yeah. A lot of people say you shouldn't. Because that you can go kind of crazy if you force it before it's time. But there are definitely people who are cool with forcing it.